my Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1559 of Toronto Mic'd. Proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. The Advantaged Investor podcast from Raymond James Canada. Learn how to plan, invest, and live smarter. Season 7 of Yes, We Are Open, an award-winning podcast from Moneris. I can't wait for Season 7. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. And Ridley Funeral Home, pillars of the community since 1921. Today, returning to Toronto Mic'd is guitar legend Leona Boyd. How are you? How you doing?
Hi, Mike.
How are things? How are you keeping?
Not looking forward to winter.
Whereabouts are you, though? Are you in warmer climate? Whereabouts are you right now, Leona?
No, thank goodness I'm not in Florida. When is this going to be broadcast, by the way?
Today. So it'll be like 10 minutes after we say goodbye.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'm glad I'm not in Florida because there's a major hurricane on its way.
Are you in Canada right now?
Yes, in Toronto, like you. You're in Toronto, right?
How come you're not in my basement right now? What's going on?
Where are you? Which part
like
of Toronto?
South Etobicoke.
Oh, okay.
What neck of the woods are
dumping grounds?
What neck of the woods are you in?
Just uptown area.
Okay, uptown. Okay, well, at some point though, Leona, I do need to meet you. Do you remember your first appearance on Toronto Mic'd?
Oh, it's a while ago. Yeah.
It was in the wake of the Popcorn remix. So that was the Popcorn remix. It was 2021, and that was a fun episode. That Popcorn remix was played many a time on Toronto Mic'd after that.
Thank you so much. That was a fun video to shoot.
Absolutely.
I had to wear those killer high heels. Now I wear running shoes most of the time.
Oh, no. You've retired the high heels?
I could never really walk on those. They were like 6-inch heels.
Oh, my goodness. The things you'll do for art, right?
Yep. I always have to suffer for those videos. And the ones I did in Palm Beach, I was either looking at the sun or I just have to suffer for art.
Sometimes you had to ride a white horse.
Oh, that's a long time ago. Yes. I got a big rash. I was allergic to one of the plants there. And the horse kept trying to buck me off. It was a wild stallion.
This is the real talk, Leona. I need all the real talk
in
here.
Andalusia, in the poppy fields, and apparently now are all dead because of pesticides. Oh, no. But that was a crazy idea I had. I saw a book with pictures of wild horses, an intro by Peter Ustinov, poetry of Garcia Lorca, and a young gypsy boy on the white horse. So I thought that's where I want to be, and I'll never be, 35 or something, more or less. And why not do it, of course? That created a bit of a scandal with the record company. They thought it was too sexy.
Oh, no. It's often imitated, never duplicated, okay? There's many an artist who has tried to capture what you captured with that album cover and has failed.
Beyonce was really copying me.
Yeah, what's that? What's up with that, Beyonce? Queen Bee, my butt. This is Leona Boyd. Come on. It's her turf.
I was the pioneer.
I love it. All right, so obviously, we're going to dive into Summer Dreams, and I'm actually going to play a bit of it and then bring it down, and I want to get all the details on this because, of course, Summer Dreams is your duet with the late, great Olivia Newton-John, and I'd love to talk to you about her as well. But first, off the top, just to reset things, if people want to hear more talk about the White Stallion, we talked about Leona Boyd's legendary career in music and beyond, and we talked about that. It was episode 910. Mike chats with the First Lady. See, I've been calling you Guitar Legend. I'm supposed to refer to you as the First Lady of Guitar.
You could just call me Leona. That's fine.
All right, Leona Boyd, about her life and career from Gordon Lightfoot to Popcorn. And we talked, it was just a great chat, and I'm so excited to be chatting with you again. But can I ask you a question that came in from a fan of yours who's very excited that this gentleman, Bob, is finally going to get an answer to a musical question that he has for you. Are you ready?
Sure, go ahead.
Please ask Leona if there is a transcription of the guitar part from the Cinerosa Allegro, the third movement of Baroque's favorites. I had to write it out by hand and even create my own backing track of the strings and harpsichord by ear so that I can perform it. It took me a solid few days. It was a bunch of obscure piano sonatas that became an oboe, again, pardon my pronunciation, an oboe concerto that she rearranged in another key for guitar, strings, and harpsichord. She is absolutely brilliant. I think I may be the only person who's ever tackled this on guitar since, as I can't find any other versions of it. So please ask Leona if she knows of anyone else doing the arrangement and any more details about this. Leona, take it away.
No, I had the idea to make a new concerto. He's talking about, did he mention Cimarosa, the composer?
Oh, yeah. I just probably butchered the pronunciation because there
were 3 concertos on that album. There was Vivaldi that they play to death. And there was Cimarosa, and there was, of course, my Albinoni piece. There was another one. What was it? Marcello. Yeah, Marcello. So I think he's talking about the Cimarosa piece. No, and I never published it. I had a marked up old copy that's somewhere in my archives that one day when I get around to it, I intend to donate to the University of Toronto. They're very interested in getting my library because I'm not playing classical anymore. I mean, I still play the classical style, but I'm writing my own music, as you know.
Of course, and we're gonna.
Well, bravo!
Yeah,
for trying that, Bob.
And he says it took him a few days. Like, this is the fanatics out there, Leona Boyd.
It took me a few days too.
and Bob, Bob's a talented musician. I know Bob. Mm-hmm. I've met him at events, and he's a very talented guitar player. But he's no Leona Boyd.
No, but it was hard to get that transcription. I used to slave over some of the intricate guitar parts, and I didn't do the orchestration. Andrew Davis did. So,
and Andrew Davis just passed away, right?
Andrew Davis, Sir Andrew Davis.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I gotta add the sir here.
Yes, they're all dying. That's the third conductor. Did he?
I actually did I remember speaking to a couple of members of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra about Sir Andrew Davis, and I believe he passed away earlier this year.
I can't keep track of all the people dying in my life. Yeah, Olivia, of course, but 2 of the conductors that I worked with here, Boris Brott, oh, bless him, he got run over by a car in Hamilton, and I worked with him in the US and here in Canada. And then Carrie Stratton, who had the Toronto Chamber Orchestra,
right?
Who I heard many times, and he conducted me years and years ago in Prince George in British Columbia. We have a picture where we're both absolutely young and ravishing. We've been in our 20s or something. Poor guy, he got Lou Gehrig's disease.
Oh, ALS, that's awful.
Yeah, I guess Andrew Davis, he did pass, I'm remembering, yes. And he was wonderful to work with. I did the whole album in 3 days. I was supposed to have 4, but then I caught this horrible virus.
Oh, no.
And luckily I wasn't singing. You can be sick as a dog and still play the guitar, which I did in London, England.
Well, that's why I call you a legend. Mm-hmm. So, Leona, okay, we're going to play. Obviously, I want to talk about Olivia Newton-John, and I want to talk about Summer Dreams. And then I'm hoping, if you're in the mood, a little game of word association where I just throw a name at you and then you can
Okay, sure.
react. I'm kind of excited about that.
Sounds fun.
That sounds fun. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy that. But before we get there, we talked about, you mentioned that you're losing a lot of your friends. People are, Sir Andrew Davis. People are, it's Olivia Newton-John, who passed away.
And just people from, my parents, of course, and just people that were, that I crossed paths with, like Maggie Smith. Right. I talked to her for about an hour in the airport. Right. Chris Christopherson, I met backstage with Gordon Lightfoot, stood with him, and Rita Coolidge. Those weren't particularly friends, but our paths crossed, and they were part of the culture, and I'm part of the boomer generation. So it's sad to keep hearing on TV. There's another one. That's my old granny in Spain used to say, another one pegged out.
Oh, no. Now, this program is actually sponsored by a funeral home, a Ridley Funeral Home. And I know, and their funeral director, who's a lovely man named Brad Jones, yes. Big Leona Boy fan. Hello, Brad. So every 2 weeks, he visits me, and we do a recording that's for his podcast, which is called Life's Undertaking. And
yes,
one of our themes we often discuss is this recognizing your own mortality, and this great equalizer, which is everyone you know.
Yes, we're all going to the same place.
Right. Will someday die. And I'm just wondering, as you say goodbye to these people you've worked with, people that were friends, do you have a sense of your own mortality? Like, is this something that...
Oh, absolutely. I think about it every day. Ronnie Hawkins, Gordon Lightfoot. Yes, and it was Prince Philip. He said, your whole life changes when you suddenly realize your own mortality. Now, bless him, he lived to be 99, almost 100. But we were pen pals, as you know, and he was the one that first, and made me think, well, he's thinking about his mortality. Well, he's going to live a long time. Don't you dare die, Prince Philip. Right. And of course he did, and along with my dear parents. So I don't have people to share a lot of the memories. I have all different chapters of my life, and my husband, who I had left actually many years ago, but we were still friends, he also made it to 99. And
when you're in your,
just
like,
went last year.
When you're in your when you're like, I don't know, in your 60s or 70s, 99 sounds like a pretty good run. But then once you're, feeling good in your 80s, 99,
that must be scary.
Well, that number doesn't sound as big as it used to. Like, it's like, wait, I'm not can I go for like how about 120? I have more work to do. Do you just feel like you have so much art you need to create, so much life to live? 99's not enough time, right?
No. But, things happen.
Right.
But
you're feeling good? I mean, other than, how are you feeling these days?
Sometimes I really feel my age. Other times I feel like just the way I did in high school.
Okay, and I dare not ask your age. This is a question you never ask a woman, but...
with the internet, it's pretty hard to hide.
I don't know. I feel
I've been around a while.
I feel
still single and still hopeful for love, and many people have given me love over the years.
Sure.
And this is the year of the 50th anniversary of my first album, and I'm going to be honored. I can't talk about it, but
whoa! You're bearing a lead here. What do you know here? Something exciting in the works for the 50th?
Yeah, but I'm sworn to secrecy, so cannot. I'm being honored in some way.
Okay, and is this in Canada?
Yes.
See, I'm going to try to narrow it down, but I don't want to get you in trouble, so I'll abandon this mission. But
thank you.
And I want to tell you,
I've been honored a lot in the States, Lifetime Achievement Awards, more than in Canada, actually. So it's about time.
I've heard from, let's talk about a band like Bare Naked Ladies. Like, I've heard that they feel they get more love in the United States than they do in Canada. Is there something in Canada where we eat our young?
I think so. Lightfoot was always much more appreciated in the U.S. Oh my God, in Texas, they go nuts over him and over me too. Yes, the Americans are a little more demonstrative.
But why is that? I mean, Leona Boyd, we should be so proud that Leona Boyd is from Canada, and this great global success came out of, is Canadian. Why aren't we?
Etobicoke.
Yeah, I mean, what part of Etobicoke, by the way?
I lived like around Burnhamthorpe area of Etobicoke, and then I went to Kipling Collegiate.
Yeah, you're right in,
Yes. High school.
I should be seeing Leona Boyd statues when I bike.
Oh.
I'm going to get you more recognition, but I'm glad to hear something is happening for your 50th anniversary. So hopefully I get to talk to you again then. But would you mind maybe before I play a little bit of Summer Dreams, which I want to know the story, because obviously Olivia Newton-John passed away how long ago? A few years ago.
Just over a year.
Just over a year?
Just over a year.
Okay, and she was 73,
Yeah.
and of course she had a long journey with breast cancer. She first got diagnosed in 1992, but she made it to 73 last year. So tell me about your relationship with Olivia Newton-John, and tell me a little bit about the how Summer Dreams came together, because that song is 11 years old.
Yes, I wrote it as Canadian Summer Dreams. We had to differentiate it when my brilliant producer, Peter Bond, had the idea of doing a kind of new treatment, and he had, better technology and just wanted to extend the song a little bit. Olivia had been my best friend, and we were neighbors in Malibu originally when I first moved to California, and my ex-husband and I were building a house in Beverly Hills. I became really good friends with her, and was friends to the very end. I knew her first husband. I knew the boyfriend that disappeared, Patrick, and then she fell madly in love with John Easterling,
Right.
who was the love of her life, and I've never seen a happier couple. And he tried to cure her with Amazon herbs because he always was, he was known as Amazon John. That was his career. And they fell in love when they were in the jungles of Peru. She was very adventurous. She wanted me to come with her to the Great Wall of China, but I'd already been once, and it was just not the right timing for me to go again. She was just such a lovely, spirited and very spiritual person. I saw her so much over the years, and we just do simple girl things. We'd go shopping in Palm Beach. We'd have lunch in some of the courtyards. I don't know whether you ever read my poem about Palm Beach, my cynical poem.
Right.
I have a disclaimer. So before Trump became president, I used to go to a lot of Mar-a-Lago things because it was just down the street, and they had a lot of interesting events. Anyway, poor Olivia, I do miss her all the time. And it's lovely when I see her on TV.
Well, my condolences.
And it's not summer anymore. It's I just got back from a little walk, and I wore my fake fur coat for the first time this morning. It was definitely chilly.
No,
The squirrels are out burying their nuts like crazy.
Yesterday was like one of those. It felt like summer yesterday, during the day at
Oh
least.
yes, yesterday was nice.
And today we're back to back to reality.
Yes.
I want to play some of this song and ask you what changed in the last 11 years. Luckily, you and your dear friend, Dame Olivia Newton-John, just like it's,
Yes.
I don't remember that Dame Olivia Newton-John and you had a duet, and you recorded it 11 years ago.
Well, it wasn't really a duet. It was a song I did.
Okay.
And then she said, would you like me to harmonize? She said, I really love the song. So I flew Peter down to Florida. We went to Echo Beach Studios, and she just, I had written the whole song, but she came in the intro and the extra and harmonized with the chorus. And it was just lovely. It added so much to the song. So I was thrilled to have her on the album. It was very generous. She wouldn't take any money. She didn't need that, I guess. She just, we went over it. She gave us a cup of tea in a house that they built in what was it? Where's the house? It was
Jupiter?
in Jupiter. That's
Yeah,
right.
Jupiter.
Yeah. I saw that house going up from the basement to the foundation. Yeah.
Well, let's take a moment here and listen. So I'm going to let this play a little bit because I want people to hear this. And in this production, so Peter, is it Peter who decided to, or you, somebody decided to revisit this song that you had recorded and sort of let Olivia's vocals rise a little bit as a kind of a fitting tribute. It's like a moving tribute to your friend. And even in
we
death.
had to cut a couple of the verses out, which I was sad about, but it was a bit long. Okay. And Peter just wanted to reimagine it. And I said, let's go ahead and do it.
Well, are you...
Too bad Olivia never got to hear that version.
Well, let's hear it in her honor right now, and then I'll bring it down and we'll talk a little more. Here it is.
It's done very well. It's got 60,000, what do you call them? Views.
Yeah, views on YouTube. Yeah. Well, listen, not only is it guitar legend Leona Boyd, but you have Dame Olivia Newton-John, and it's a wonderful way to remember her because now that she's passed on, we can still hear her beautiful voice. So let's listen, and then we'll pick it up on the other side here.
Summer cottage by the summer lake. Oh, what joyful summer plans we'd make. Every weekend when we'd all escape to the summer cottage by the lake, paddling our canoes along the shore, greeting neighbors at the country store. How could anyone have asked for more? Those were simple, happy days for sure. Canadian summer dreams, cottages and lakes and streams, lemonade and soft ice creams. Canadian summer dreams. La 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 la. La 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 la. Cottages and lakes and streams. Canadian summer dreams. That fishing place beside the granite rock, that musty boathouse with its rusty lock, our swimsuits drying on the wooden dock. Who thought those summer days could ever stop? Canadian summer dreams, cottages and lakes and streams, lemonade and soft ice creams. Canadian summer dreams. La 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 la. La 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 la. Cottages.
Leona, suddenly I'm craving some lemonade right now.
Yes, I had warm soft ice cream this summer. There was a truck that came, and I thought of Olivia, and it was so delicious. I was brought up on Dairy Queen as a teenager.
Sure. Yeah, it paints a beautiful picture. I mean, I love it. It's, I'm a proud Canadian myself, but Canadian summer dreams, cottages and lakes and streams, lemonade and soft ice creams, Canadian summer dreams. And you sound great on this, and I'm always amazed that Leona Boyd sings now.
Yeah, that was amazing. I couldn't even sing a scale. I was thrown out of a choir when I was like 8. So it's nostalgic. It's about, the song is about all the happy memories we all had being at cottages. And I just, I love the video, the way the video came out. I was involved in that, but also had help with my video guide, George, and picking the right images. And it just captures that, the lovely golden summer days we all remember so well that maybe we'll never experience again in the same way because we're not kids.
Right.
And, sitting around bonfires, having marshmallow roasts, and, catching fish.
It's beautiful.
On the lakes.
I'm going to bring it up just to let it close out here to listen to this great ending here.
Oh, events, yeah.
Lemonade and soft
Kudos to you. That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. And, sometimes you don't need that complex lyrics. The next video I brought out has very, very complex lyrics. Have you watched that? It's called The Search.
The Search,
it's influenced by Cava Fay and Dylan and all the great poets that I used to read, still do. That one is just came out. So that's extremely complex, whereas Summer Dreams is the opposite. It's just simple imagery of summer.
Well, it's more accessible for us normies, right? Like, we're not all Sir Andrew Davis. Sometimes we need things dumbed down a shade here, but that's not dumbed down. I'd say that's beautifully simple.
A melody that's simple. It's got, people have responded so well to the lyrics, and it started out as a poem. You can just look on YouTube, The Search.
For sure. Leona Boyd, The Search. For sure. By the way,
search for The Search.
By the way, I know we talked about how Canada doesn't give you your due props, but I do want to let the listenership know before we get to the word association that, okay, this is from your official biography here, okay? But you have received 5 honorary doctorates, the Order of Ontario, and the Diamond Jubilee Medal, and you were recently upgraded from member to officer of the Order of Canada. I think, Leona, you should run for Prime Minister.
No, thank you. Staying right away from politics. It's too scary these days.
Well, there might be a couple of names in the word association, and you can say what you wish. You can say pass, and you don't have to say anything, but we'll be interested to see what you say. I would like to get there now. I'm just going to very quickly say thank you to Great Lakes Brewery, because Leona, if you ever get back to Etobicoke, I got fresh craft beer for you that's brewed right here in southern Etobicoke. Just near Royal York and Queensway, very close to your old stomping grounds.
I know that area, yes.
Yeah. Down the street from the Costco is what I say. But I just want the listenership to know we're going to be at the other location, which is Jarvis and Queens Quay. We're going to be there for TMLX 16 from 6 to 9 p.m. on October 21st, 2024. So that's only a couple of weeks from now. We're going to be there. You have to be on the guest list to be a part of this TMLX. So if you're not on the guest list, you'll have to go there as a regular customer and order your own food and drink. But you can still say hi, hang out. That's the Great Lakes Brew Pub. I want to let everyone know that they're invited to TMLX 17, which basically anyone who wants to go can go to that one. That's at Palma's Kitchen, which is in Mississauga. And of course, that's owned by Palma Pasta, who make delicious Italian food. So, Leona, I owe you a Palma Pasta lasagna.
My mouth is watering at the thought.
I feel like you've been to Italy enough times that you would recognize authentic Italian food.
Oh, yes. I love Italy. I love Italian food. Yeah.
Well, you would love this. And then
gelato.
You know what? I went to, a while ago now, but I spent a week or so in Italy, and I lived on gelatos, which were only €2, I think, or something like that. And I would just live on it. And
wonderful people, the Italians eat gelato for breakfast. I think that's a great way to live.
And they all look so good, right? It must be good for you.
Absolutely.
That's the secret.
Here.
So quick shout out to recyclemyelectronics.ca. That's where you go if you have old electronics that need to be recycled. You go there, put in your address, and it tells you where you can drop off your electronics to be properly recycled. And a big shout out to the Advantaged Investor podcast from Raymond James Canada, where you learn how to wisely invest and good best practices for finances. So that's a great podcast. And again, I mentioned this in the intro, but season 7 of Yes, We Are Open, hosted by FOTML Grego, is dropping very soon. So subscribe to Yes, We Are Open and get ready for season 7. We're going to be talking about it as it comes out, but I'm very excited about season 7 of Yes, We Are Open, but I'm very excited to be reconnected with Leona Boyd because I had such a good time the first time. I really appreciate your honesty. So I'm literally going to say a name, and then I'm going to lean back and listen to what you have to say. Maybe you have one word, maybe you have a few sentences. What do I know? I'm just excited. So I'm going to start with this name. You ready?
Yes.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Crazy neighbor. My crazy neighbor lived right across the street from me in Beverly Hills. and we'd go to his parties, and he'd be walking his dog along the street. I thought he was going to die at one point. He was very shaky.
Yeah.
But I think Sharon rescued him. And, he was a character. And I think you can see on my website, leonaboyd.com or classicalguitar.com, picture of him holding me up in the air, and he was quite winded afterwards. I said, put on that Aussie face, please. So yeah. And then he invited us to the show, and I took, he didn't come, but I took Sharon to Cirque du Soleil. He was a great neighbor because he had all kinds of police. If you read my second book, it's how I tricked a con artist into returning a guitar to me, saying, look at all those policemen. Of course, he didn't know they were Aussies. I pretended they were all out to get him.
Shout out your books here before we even proceed. People, love your personality, love you beyond your guitar playing. Shout out your books.
Oh, well, my latest one is a children's book called The Cat Who Played Guitar. Yeah. And I hear it's been doing really well in England, here, and through Amazon. The Cat Who Played Guitar is sort of loosely based on my cat, Muffin, and Laura Fernandez, who has a program on Jazz FM, competition. She did beautiful illustrations. She was a professional illustrator. Wow. And her specialty was cats, so I was very lucky. Then I have a book called No Remedy for Love, which is very much about my travels and my friendship with Prince Philip and all that, and how you behind the scenes of the recording, and how I broke my shoulder and was in the hospital a while. But the first book is actually, if you want all the adventures, if you want the Pierre Trudeau stories, things like that, that one is called In My Own Key, My Life in Love and Music. And there's also an audiobook on Audible where I read the whole darn book. It took a long time to read it, and I was recording it in Palm Beach, mostly in my underwear because it was so hot. I had to turn all the air conditioning off. Woo. So I love writing, and I wrote a lot of it on Canada or flying around the world. All the behind scenes of the different tours I did, including the Lightfoot tour, of course.
Right. On that note, so you did cover this in great depth during your first Toronto Mic'd appearance, but perhaps a word or two about Gordon Lightfoot, since he's passed away since your appearance on Toronto Mic'd. But speak to me a bit about Gordon Lightfoot.
Well, I wrote a song called Lightfoot. And I don't think there has been a good song with Gordon Lightfoot. I got permission from Gordon while he was alive to use some of his lyrics. So this song is all based on his own lyrics. And then Ronnie Hawkins, the legendary stomping...
Rompin' Ronnie.
Stomping. No, not romping, not stomping.
That's Tom Connors.
Tom Connors.
Any stories about Tom?
Yeah, well, the first label I was with was Boot Records, but Romping Ronnie invited us to his sort of country house outside of Peterborough, and I have pictures of me sitting on his lap, and he joined. And Gordon was so surprised. He didn't know because they'd been friends for a long, long time. And I just thought he'd be perfect to guest. And at the end, you hear, what is he? Oh, you handsome brute. You hear his voice at the end of the song. And we have a new version coming out on the next album. Amazing. Where, again, Peter Bond has reimagined that song. And wow, that's going to be great because, Gordon... Oh my goodness, he helped launch my career big time, playing to thousands of people every night. So bless you, Gordon. Sorry you've departed. Another friend gone.
Another friend gone. Oh my goodness. And yeah, another legend, a fellow legend, as they say. So totally. Gordon Lightfoot, more talk in that first episode of Leona Boyd about Gordon. But you mentioned Ronnie Hawkins, and I just want to say that earlier this morning, I was on the phone with a radio legend from Toronto named John Donaby. Do you know John Donaby?
Oh, yes, of course.
Radio legend.
I remember all those old radio guys. Yes.
Yeah, he was, so as I was, because he was going to visit, but for reasons I won't disclose on this podcast, he needs to postpone his visit. And, but I was already doing the homework. And
Yes.
part of that homework was a very interesting recorded conversation that John Donaby had with John Lennon, where John Donaby is telling John Lennon about brokering like this visit that John Lennon will make to Ronnie Hawkins' place you described near
Yes, he
Peterborough.
stayed there, didn't he? Yes.
So it's fascinating. Fascinating. Did you ever meet John Lennon?
No, I didn't. I recorded a song that Julian Lennon was going to sing, and I've met Julian. This was through Bob Ezrin, but in the end, he couldn't hit the high note. So that one never came. I really worked hard on getting the guitar part right. This was in Los Angeles.
Right.
But I have Mark Masry. He just guested on one of the songs on the new album that will be coming out in February. And Mark Masry he's always struck me as such one of the sweetest, nicest people. I saw his TV special that he did on PBS. We both had TV specials. And he's one of the tenors now. So.
Wow. Do you ever rest, Leona? I'm just here. You got this new song coming out then, and you got this stuff in 2025. Do you ever just say, hey, I've earned a break?
Oh, lots of times. You're kidding. I just laze around listening to audiobooks.
It's a good life.
Yeah.
It's a good life if you don't weaken.
Going for walks.
Beautiful. All right. You're not playing pickleball, are you?
No, that's my sister. She's a pickleball fanatic. Retired dentist.
Okay, retired dentist. Okay, you get good dental care there. Okay, so another name, I'm going to just throw these names at you. Julio Iglesias.
Julio. I was always in love with Julio. I just loved the quality of his voice. And he wrote so many beautiful songs, especially at the beginning of his career. And I speak Spanish because I used to live in Mexico. So I know he's old now, and people made fun of him when he did To All the Girls I've Loved Before. He's a legend for sure in the Latin world.
Right.
I remember Oprah was weak at the knees when he came on her show. And unfortunately, he was not a boyfriend of mine. I would have liked it, but I tell a very humorous Julio Iglesias story. It wasn't fun at the time. It was most embarrassing. How I went to meet him, got drunk, and anyway, I'll always love Julio and his music.
Oh, I was waiting for that story.
He's hanging in there. Oh, it's in my book. You got to read the first book.
It's in the book. Shout out to Nick Kiprios. Absolutely. Now,
it's called Julio and I down in the courtyard. No, what is it? Oh, it's the Paul
down
Simon
in the schoolyard.
Song.
Schoolyard, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Paul Simon. And what about Paul Simon? You ever meet him?
I lived so close to him in New Canaan, Connecticut, because I've skipped around the country a bit.
Sure.
Me and Julio, yeah. But I never did. No.
Julio Iglesias, you mentioned All the Girls I Loved Before. I always remember Willie Nelson and him sort of doing that. And then I'm wondering if you ever met the fellow living legend, Willie Nelson.
No, I didn't. I had met Boxcar Willie, who almost smashed my guitar up. I did quite a few country shows when I was in Nashville. I did so many TV shows, I almost forget some of them. But Chet Atkins introduced me to many of the top country people.
Well, he's next on my list, Chet Atkins.
Oh, wonderful living legend, yes. He was called the country gentleman. His finger picking was unequaled. He helped introduce me to different TV shows, and I did some concerts with him, and then he was a guest on my TV specials. Yeah, I had so many TV specials. I really want somebody to do a documentary on my life. Shout out to any documentary filmmakers, because I have so much footage, a lot of footage with Chet, I was on The Tonight Show 3 times. I was going to be 4 times, but Bruce Allen delayed it and said, oh, don't worry. There's a lot about him too in my book.
Well, Bruce Allen is still with us also, but we talk quite a bit about Tears Are Not Enough, and we, of course, know you were involved in that, so that would be through Bruce Allen there.
I wasn't, no, it was really through, I think it was David Foster
Yeah, David Foster
David
composed
a
it,
lot
and
when
then I think Bruce helped organize that recording in some regard. Him and he was in tight, of course, with Bryan Adams and Jim Vallance, who co-wrote.
Yes, Jim
co-wrote
Vallance,
that
right?
song.
They co-wrote it.
Right.
Yeah.
What a
It was
time. On that
Canada's
note,
version to We Are the World.
that should be there is a documentary from the mid 80s, but I feel like we need to uncover the source footage and put together a new Tears Are Not Enough documentary.
Yes, and I want to know who the guy is escorting me. I'm wearing this fake fur coat. I look awful. And with sunglasses, look like I'm trying to be a movie star.
No, we solved this riddle. I don't have it in my notes right now. I might need to do
and
a quick...
I don't know who it was.
I
have no idea who the guy is.
I'll tell you what, I'll set you up for another story, and then I'll search... I'm going to search
Well, if you can find out, I'm just curious.
We put this out to the listenership last time you were on, and I'm certain we solved this. Yeah, we found out who that was, and I wish I had that info. I'm going to look it up, but while I do that, let me just give you another name then, get you going here. But Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone, well, once removed, I was very great friends with his mother, his very eccentric mother when I lived in Beverly Hills. We used to go to the same hairdresser, and we met there. And she was the most eccentric character. She introduced me, I think she was trying to line me up with her son, Sylvester's brother. So I met Sylvester Sly just briefly at the ice cream shop. I keep coming back to ice cream, don't we?
I have the answer for you. We'll get back to Sly. He can wait, okay? But here it is.
No, I didn't know Sly really.
No, but did you know the hairstylist Gary Chowan? Does that name ring a bell? Maybe not. Okay.
I usually didn't go to hairstylists, actually.
Oh, interesting.
He was having some hair extensions put in or something.
Okay.
No, I always did my own hair.
Oh, that's a fun fact. Okay, here it is. I have it here. This was solved. I want to shout out Jason Schneider, who solved this back September 6th, 2021, because he heard you on Toronto Mike, and we talked about this famous, who is this mystery man? You ready for this?
Yes.
His name is Doug Johnson. He was the keyboardist for the Canadian rock band Loverboy.
You're kidding.
That was the gentleman who
I
escorts
didn't really
you in.
know him. Loverboy. Oh, I remember the band, of course.
Yeah.
And
Mike Reno and
yeah.
So Doug Johnson was your mystery man.
Reno. Oh, well, hi, Doug. Thank you for escorting me in, because they were afraid we get mobbed.
Well, at least you didn't take a limo to this event, did you?
Oh, I don't know. I may have.
You may have. Okay.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think my dad drove me down. I didn't drive for the longest time.
No, but cabs would take you. Like I know Neil Young and Joni Mitchell, they kind of arrive in these taxi cabs, right? But the gentleman who took the limo and got a little flack for it, and I'm trying to get him on Toronto Mike, then he's the next name I'll throw at you. Mark Holmes from Platinum Blonde.
No, I don't know Mark.
No, but you remember him from that day?
I really didn't take a limo.
No, he did though.
I remember Jason Schneiderman's
keyboardist
mother, I guess, Eleanor, who's passed away.
Wife of Sam.
He was always saying, you're going to be riding around in limos. Well, I didn't care to be riding around in limos, but looking back, I sure have been in a lot of limos over the course of my career.
Limo is how Leona Boyd should travel. Private jets. But when you're going to to create a charity single for famine relief in Africa, maybe that's the time to jump in a cab.
Yes, I think so. A back taxi, as I do these days.
Amazing. Now, so Mark Holmes, I just wondered that day, I've heard from people who were at Tears Are Not Enough about Mark Holmes, and I wondered if you had any engagement with him during that famous day when you guys recorded Tears Are Not Enough, but you don't have a Mark Holmes story.
No, I mean, I hung out with Dan Hill. But at that time, I didn't know him that well. When I did a Canadian song, a song for Canada called Canada, My Canada,
right?
I invited a lot of well-known Canadians, including Dan Hill, to be my special guests. And that's on the Return to Canada with Love album. Right. So Jen Arden, she sang with me.
Wow.
And we did it on tour with a lot of choirs. That was great, especially children's choirs. They loved that song, Randy Bachman. Who else?
Randy
Selena
Backman,
Ryder.
by the way, got screwed.
Even Ron McLean. Remember Ron McLean?
Are you kidding me? I saw him at Massey Hall last Saturday. He inducted the Blue
that's
Rodeo. The
great.
two guys from Greg and Jim from Blue Rodeo got inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame, and Ron inducted them.
Okay. Yeah, I met him in the airport. I said, "I'm doing this song. Would you like to come and sing? I hear you sing." And, he brought bottles of champagne for my producer and I.
Yeah.
It was great, and he sounded good. And Chris Hadfield sang on it too.
Wow.
He's a lovely guy.
Okay,
He sounds like a young Gordon Lightfoot.
Okay, because he's famous for doing the David Bowie cover from the space station.
Yes. Imagine playing the guitar from outer space.
Yeah. I
knew two people that were astronauts, and both of them amazing. I knew Buzz Aldrin.
Wow.
When I used to live in LA. We'd go to dinner with him. We had parties together.
Wow.
And he had some great stories. And then my father's Air Force friend years ago was knighted by the Queen, and he was one of the top geologists in the world and got to analyze the moon rocks. Wow. So he took me into his lab and showed me a piece. It was under a bell jar, couldn't just get it out. But he said he got the weirdest sensation sometimes holding a piece of the moon in his hand and then looking up at the sky, seeing the moon. I always remember that. And then he took me hiking over the moors. Lovely guy. And my father, both my parents had great adventures during the wartime. They didn't get hurt, thank God. But, they had amazing war stories.
My favorite Buzz Aldrin story is somebody came up to him at some event and said that the moon landing was staged, and apparently Buzz Aldrin punched him in the nose.
Good for him.
Yeah. Can you imagine going through all that effort and all that risk, such high risk too, and, just to be told it was in a soundstage?
Conspiracy stories now that are just
disturbing. Well, I want to ask you about, I don't even know if you know this name, so I'll throw the name at you just to see if you had any interactions with him, because I know you did film a lot of stuff in Agincourt at the CFTO studio in Scarborough, and I'm just wondering if you ever met Uncle Bobby.
Oh, no, I didn't. No.
But do you know of Uncle Bobby? Do you know this gentleman?
I think I've heard of him, yes.
Okay, we'll move on from Uncle Bobby, but I have to ask, if you met Uncle Bobby. Okay, and again, extensively covered in your first episode of Toronto Mic'd, but would you say a sentence or two about former Prime Minister, father of current Prime Minister, Pierre Elliott Trudeau?
I can't just say a sentence or two. It was 8 years we were together. Again.
8 years, eh?
And my first book, it's a whole chapter and then some. Yeah, it was a big chapter in my life. And, he was a playboy. I left him. I leave them all, Mike. That's the trouble.
Have you ever been left? Has anyone ever left Leona Boyd?
No, never. I've never had my heart broken. Doesn't seem right, does it? But it's always me. I left my fiancé, Joel. I left Pierre. I left, I don't know.
You're a heartbreaker.
No, it's just I'm an artist, and I guess I'm in love with the guitar and.
But you mentioned you're single now.
Lonely sometimes, though.
Are you dating now? Are you on the apps, for example?
I don't think I dare do that.
Could you imagine I'm on Tinder and then I see Leona Boyd? That's a mind blow.
No, I'm not on Tinder.
Okay.
I am not on Tinder. I'm too fussy. That's the trouble. They've got to be perfect.
You got high standards.
Very, yeah. But I have great friends. But ask me about some women.
I got some women for you here. You're right. It's men heavy, and I'm disappointed in myself as I look at this. But here's some women. How about Tracy Chapman?
Oh, terrible woman. I hate to tell you, but she was a nightmare on tour. Her whole band almost mutinied. She was so mean. Elliot, what's his name? Elliot was a manager, and he said, it's because she's, we did a whole tour of Europe together, and she didn't even talk to me. She didn't talk to anybody.
Wow. She
just yelled and screamed. The sound checks were a nightmare always. I didn't even get sound checks a lot of the time. And the idea of a photo, she didn't do photos with any of us. She had a huge hit with Fast Car.
Yeah.
And she was going through, I guess, a lot of, I guess it was, I don't know, she must have had a lot of problems to be so mean, because I didn't even make any money on that.
Yeah, she must have been dealing with something. Hopefully she's
she was
found
moving
happiness.
house, maybe. I mean, I thought I'd be fighting her off. It's the opposite. Couldn't even get close. Couldn't even have a conversation.
Wow.
And, she was very young. She became famous. Couldn't just deal with it, maybe. But in those days, when we did the tour in the mid-'80s, oh gosh, what year was it?
Late
I'm very
80s,
bad
maybe.
at years.
Probably late 80s, I think, for Tracy.
Yeah, like maybe
even into 1990, maybe.
or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Hopefully she's changed.
What about Sarah McLachlan? So I mentioned I was at Massey Hall, and there's Ron McLean inducting Greg Keeler and Jim Cuddy from Blue Rodeo, but also inducted that day was Sarah McLachlan. Have you ever met Sarah?
I met Jim Cuddy, but I never met Sarah. I kind of did my own thing, as a classical soloist. You don't always run, other than at the Junos.
Right.
I don't always remember meeting some of the people.
Okay, so then we'll move away from that. Let me ask you about David Gilmour.
Oh, he was a lovely guy. We both recorded together at his house. I kind of helped him. I helped produce that track he did on my Persona album.
Right.
People always ask about Eric Clapton, but I never met Eric. We did our tracks in different countries because he was in the US when I was recording in London. But Gilmour, we actually hung out at his house, got to sit in the garden. I have a picture of me petting his dog and working, of course, with Michael Kamen. That was a bit of a nightmare in a way, actually doing it, because he was high on coke most of the time and I was never into drugs. He kept saying, "Come on, do a line, Leon. It'll help you relax. You'll improvise better." And I'm coming from a classical training. I don't really improvise that well.
Right.
I love writing melodies, and sometimes I feel it's almost like just downloading something from the sky, from
beautiful
some other dimension. And I sit all the time more recently when I sit in my house in Palm Beach, and that's some of the happiest times when I just sit there and get inspired, and the melodies would just flow. In fact, on so many times it was just effortless, like I was, just tuning into some other
amazing
level of consciousness.
Well, amazing.
I was in the zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what about Judge Lance Ito?
Well, he's the one that gave me certainly a memorable experience playing for the O.J. Simpson jury. And at the end, they wanted autographs. I played for an hour. They were so bored. So Lance Ito called me up and asked if I'd come in and entertain them. And this was purely classical I was playing.
Right.
They seemed very, very appreciative. I had to sign all these CDs that I brought for them to numbers, not to names, because, of course, it was all secret.
Right.
And when the verdict came out, we all knew he was guilty. But we also knew that the
Rodney King trial.
They were, they threatened to burn down Beverly Hills. So I was up in Prince Rupert, Canada, when the verdict was read out. And so I was almost relieved that he was found not guilty, because otherwise I thought, oh, my husband, my cat, I think I had Muffin by then, my cat. Right. I was terrified of mobs coming because, I arrived in LA during the riots.
Right, the Rodney King riots.
Yeah, and then I became like the disaster reporter of the earthquake, which was terrifying, the Malibu fires. I was in that. And we did a fundraiser with one of my all-time legendary, my hero, Maurice Shaw, who wrote the theme to Lawrence of Arabia and Dr. Zhivago.
Wow.
So we did this fundraiser and got to hang out with him a little bit.
Did you ever hang out with...
I got to play. I played on the film that he wrote. I'm trying to think. What was it called? And he won the Golden Globe for the best score. The one with Keanu Reeves.
The Matrix.
Oh, Walk in the Clouds.
Walk in the Clouds. Okay, not The Matrix.
Beautiful.
Okay.
No sex, no violence. All in the vineyards with Anthony Quinn.
Right.
Anybody that loves wine would love that because a lot of vineyard scenes.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. And the music was beautiful. And I was thrilled to be able to be conducted by Maurice Shaw, one of my heroes.
Amazing. By the way, speaking of Lancito, is that intimidating? Like when you're being, when you're meeting your heroes? I mean, usually people of your stature are the heroes and they're being met by people who are very nervous. I'm always anxious when I'm going to be on a Zoom with Leona Boyd. But when you meet your heroes, do you get nervous?
No. I don't know why.
Oh, good.
I think if I met, I wasn't nervous playing for all the heads of state. I played for so many politicians over the years.
Of course.
No, it was just, I don't know, playing with orchestra. Sometimes I get a bit nervous. It's because I didn't do it as much. And with that Walk in the Clouds, my God, it was like the whole LA Philharmonic facing me and I had the melody. So that was a bit scary.
Wow. Now, speaking of scary, did you ever meet O.J. Simpson, who also passed away earlier this year?
No, that's what we're talking about, the O.J. Simpson trial.
Yeah, but Judge Lancito invited you.
I just wondered him crossing the street, but I never went to talk to him.
I just wondered pre-murders if you had any, when he was a famous football player who was in one of I loved The Naked Gun, okay, one of my favorite movies. O.J. has a prominent role in The Naked Gun, so...
Oh, yes. What's his name? The guy that does...
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen. He came over to the house. Yeah, I had lots of people we'd have over for dinner. And Neil Simon, too. Wow. No, I mean, listen, I met so many celebrities over the years. And,
jeez.
No, I just, I enjoy what they contributed. So many people, as we started out saying, I'm no longer around, but I feel very privileged that I met people like this. And I should put a book out, just little anecdotes of all the crazy things. I mean, Zeffirelli cooked me dinner. How lucky was that? One of the greatest film directors in the world. But I guess it was all timing, and
Okay, well, so what about Meghan and Harry? Have you ever had a meeting with Meghan and or Harry?
No, but I think that people should not judge them unless you've read Harry's book, which I've read. I've listened to as an audiobook many times. I love his voice. He acts so well. And I know a lot of people are kind of disappointed that he broke away from the royal family, but I think he did the right thing. I really do. And he was very brave. He was very compassionate. He's got a great sense of humor. I love his stories. So I hope that one day maybe I will. I don't know Meghan at all.
Right. But she did live in Toronto for a spell because
his book Spare is great.
Spare is a great book. Now, she did live in Toronto for a bit when she was filming Suits, which they filmed here. Now, last 10, rapid fire here, and you've been amazing, so I will thank you at the end again. But I got to say, anytime you want to come on and chat and promote any new single, you've got to pass, okay, Leona? I will drop everything.
Thank you. When the new album comes out, I'm still trying to think of the right name for it because it's very, very varied. But I'm really, really pleased. The Once Upon a Time album is doing very well.
Yeah.
And we did it on Atmos, which is surround sound. So if any of you have Ferraris out there,
of course they do.
High-end cars.
Do they make bicycles?
you're a biker too.
I'm a cyclist. Yeah, I don't know Ferrari in my driveway, but do you bike?
Yes.
Amazing.
I love biking.
I want to bike. I want to bike with you, and maybe the waterfront trail here in Toronto at some point. I want to bike with Leona
That's
Boyd.
delightful.
I want to do that. All right, so rapid fire 10 last. Here we go. Rick Emmett.
Oh, amazing guitarist, lovely person. Triumph.
Absolutely. Also a fellow FOTM like you. That means friend of Toronto Mike. So shout out to Rick Emmett.
Yes. Okay. Hi. Lots of love, Mike. I mean, Rick.
Rick with a R-I-K, just so you don't mess it up. Okay.
Yeah, and he's very knowledgeable. We both were honored and we both used to write stories for Guitar Player magazine.
Of course. And he's an Etobicoke guy too, right? Maybe not. Maybe he's not actually. You know what? I'm going to rescind that. I'm not convinced he is, but
finally somebody I knew.
Well, the Real Statics. I don't know if you remember the Real Statics.
And I had lunch just a little while ago. The other one, what's his name? Alex Lifeson.
Well, that's okay. So I'll go to that one right away. Alex Lifeson, because he was on my my last 10 here.
Lovely guy.
Yeah.
He lives down the street from me.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, I'm curious for your reaction to this name, Pierre Polyev.
I do not know him.
Okay, so he is the... okay, no, it's okay.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, maybe you spent too much time in the States. I was going to... Yeah.
Yes.
So, any comment, or are you going to pass on Pierre Polyev?
I'll take a pass.
Okay. John Travolta. Did you ever meet him?
No.
Only curious because of Grease.
John Tory, yes.
John
I thought
Tory.
you were going to say John.
Are you friendly with John Tory? I feel like John Tory should come over.
I talked to him about 3 days ago, yeah.
Tell him to come on Toronto Mike and just clear the air on everything. He kind of got lumped in with some stuff, and I feel like John Tory...
a silly thing,
yeah. I feel like that's why pencils have erasers. Come on over and talk about it, clear the air, and let's move on from that. So that's not the first thing people say when they hear the name John Tory. Okay.
Yeah, it's really sad.
But I only mentioned John Travolta because, of course, Dame Olivia Newton-John and him were in the Grease. Okay, The Edge from U2.
Oh, yes. He was in my closet and in my bedroom looking at a guitar.
Oh.
I had an unusual guitar made by Boaz, an Israeli guitar maker.
Okay.
Like, it's funny to think, both. I have another story. I was in the bedroom of oh God, what's his name? I'm getting forgetful.
You know what? It's because I talk too long, and you're like, no, who is this guy who wants over an hour of my life? We're almost wrapping up, 5 to go, but describe that person. I can help you with the name. Who are we talking about? Oh, singer? Bono?
Like Popera. You know,
Popera.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Popera means. Oh, young guy. Okay.
Worked with David Foster a lot.
Okay, geez, Mike, come through this. David Foster, okay. If it comes to you later, I would...
Anyway, because the reason I went there, his mother said, go up, he's in the bedroom. We shared the same type of cat, and his cat was sick, so he was up in the bedroom tending to his cat.
Well, it comes back to
he
cats.
Had a shaded silver American short hair.
Wow. Okay, well, a lot of people love their cats.
We stop, I'll know.
Okay, well then I'll insert it in post. All right, did you ever meet Terry Fox?
No, unfortunately, but I think he's one of our legendary heroes.
I run for Terry every year, so.
Do you? Oh, God.
I was a young man, very young boy when he passed away, and it affected me greatly. So I make sure I get out there every year for the Terry Fox run.
That's great, Mike.
Bob Einstein, also known as Super Dave Osborne.
Oh, yeah. I better leave that or I'll end up telling a Me Too story on him.
He's no longer with us. I feel like if you wanted to tell that story, but you probably told it in the first episode, as I recall. So if people want to go back to your first appearance on Toronto Mike.
Did I? Oh.
Yeah, he did. He came, he was, he I guess you went to his hotel room because he promised a possible TV show. And he was wearing a robe.
Yeah, he invented this whole TV show. No, I mean, we all think Me Too was just happening in the U.S. It was happening here in Canada too. Not that often to me, but I do remember Super Dave.
Super Dave.
Having to fight my way out of the room.
That's too bad. That's too bad. Okay, last three names. These are big names. Okay, Kamala Harris.
Strong, determined lady with good values.
Donald Trump.
Oh, do I have to pass?
You can pass on. See, I like you. You pass it. You don't want to say a negative thing about somebody. You'll pass. Okay, last name on the list, and then I'm going to thank you again. But Toronto Mike.
Toronto Mike? My favorite guy in Toronto. I'm looking at his handsome face. You can't see me, but great hair.
Oh, see.
Ask me all these impossible questions. Hair standing up on end now. Beautiful color. They're the same color as my shaded silver American short hair cat.
Well, I'm honored.
I want to reach out and stroke your hair.
Well, listen, when we meet at the waterfront trail for a bike ride, you can do anything you want to my hair. Leona, continued success. I can't wait to find out what's in store for you as we approach the 50th anniversary of that first release. And I hope it's the key to the country. None of this key to the city nonsense. You deserve all these accolades. You are a living legend. And I can't wait till our next chat.
Yes, earlier this year, I gave away 30 beautiful guitars. They were Yamaha guitars. And I decided to pay it forward and help inspire young guitar students across Canada. And very kindly, Long and McQuaid offered to distribute them for me and basically helped with the competition. And people from across Canada were eligible. So I got a lot of very happy kids and a couple of adults that got these guitars and sent me little videos and photos. I think it's coming out in the catalog. So that was something I just spontaneously did.
Good on you for paying it forward, and good on Long and McQuaid for working with you. And speaking of people we lost recently, we just lost Mr. Long from Long and McQuaid. He just passed away.
Oh, I did not know that. Terrible. I don't read the Toronto papers enough.
I'm the bearer of sad news for you, Leona, but the good news is you've got new music coming, new music now, and you're paying it forward. And I want you to know that's I appreciate that. So thank you.
A guitar can change someone's life. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me back again.
And that brings us to the end of our 1559th show. You can go to torontomike.com for all your Toronto Mike needs. Much love to those who made this possible. That's Great Lakes Brewery, Palma Pasta, RecycleMyElectronics.ca, Raymond James Canada, Moneris, and Ridley Funeral Home. See you on Wednesday when Jeff Spindell, formerly of Boom 97.3, makes his Toronto Mike debut.
Well, I want to take a streetcar downtown, read Henry Miller and wander around, and drink some Guinness from a tin, 'cause my UI check has just come in. I will